The majority of people are taught to be kind and to prioritize the needs of others over their own desires. But does anyone ever tell us about the consequences that can result from being overly compassionate and kind? There is a large population of generous individuals who give to everyone, even if it means squandering their own resources and energy in the process. It is possible that if we are overly kind to others, we could put our own lives in jeopardy. You will be astounded by the unexpectedly negative things that can occur to you as a result of your excessive generosity. In this article, I will discuss 9 of them, as well as provide you with 6 Stoic strategies that can be used to prevent people from taking advantage of you right away. To show your appreciation for the journey that we are taking together, which is a journey into the realms of peace and understanding, please show your support by subscribing to the channel. This is a simple act, but it is extremely significant. Additionally, keep in mind that this message was written with you in mind if you have ever felt like you stood out from the crowd among other people. For this reason, you should make sure that you do not miss any part of the video. You are certainly the one-of-a-kind person that we have been looking forward to. Let's move on. Number 1. You will have expectations of other people that are excessively high. According to Stoic philosophy, we should not rely on the actions of other people to bring us happiness. Rather, we should accept things in their current state. According to some people, if you give without expecting too much in return, you will be able to avoid feeling sad and develop emotional detachment, both of which will result in increased mental tranquility. It is challenging to be completely selfless in our generosity because when we give our all, we anticipate that others will do the same for us when we are in need of something significant. If, on the other hand, you are accustomed to having everything done for you, then people will assume that you are capable of managing everything in their lives as well as your own, particularly your own. Why would you take on the responsibilities of other people if you couldn't even handle your own? Your expectations of a return will not be fulfilled, which is the only thing that will occur in reality. Instead, you will experience feelings of remorse, exhaustion, frustration, and disappointment. Still, if we take an objective look at the situation, we can see that people are not failing you, they are simply doing what you ought to be doing, which is taking care of their own responsibilities. The formation of unrealistic expectations can be caused by a variety of factors, including societal norms, personal desires, previous experiences, and the influence of the media. A significant portion of the time, these assumptions consist of coming to the conclusion that other people will act or behave in ways that might not be accurate. In order to maintain healthy relationships and guard against feelings of disappointment or anger, it is essential to recognize and acknowledge that individuals are not perfect and may not always live up to the standards that we set for them. The ability to be truthful with other people, to hold them to reasonable standards, and to demonstrate empathy and understanding are all very important. The ability to manage standards can assist you in having interactions with other people that are more satisfying and peaceful, which can ultimately lead to relationships that are more realistic and last for a longer period of time. Number 2. The only thing that people will want from you is something. Those who adhere to the Stoic philosophy believe that it is essential to keep in mind that genuine value is derived from doing what is right, and not simply what other people want. By practicing moderation and generosity, you will be able to maintain control over your actions and steer clear of destructive behaviors that are detrimental to your mental health. The phrase "human beings are creatures of habit" is something that you have been introduced to throughout your entire life. This is due to the fact that our bodies are designed to become accustomed to a rhythm, a way of life, and a variety of different things that are occurring in our environment. One of the origins of the concept of a safety zone is the ability to adapt to new circumstances. People who benefit from your generosity will feel that they are entitled to receive something from you on a consistent basis if you do it frequently. Because of this, you will earn their respect in comfort zones, and they will be less likely to perform many of their responsibilities because you will be there to perform them. You are going to run into a problem if you do not value yourself, because if you do not, then no one else will. Say to yourself that you should care more about yourself and look you in the eyes. It is unreasonable to anticipate that the people you assist will demonstrate compassion in this manner because they will adhere to their own version of Robin Hood, which will ultimately result in the loss of their lives. A great number of individuals have the misconception that other people are looking for something from them, whether it be something specific, such as a gift or a favor, or something more general, such as assistance, respect, or approval. Bear in mind, however, that the standards are not the same for each and every individual or circumstance. It's possible that some people will have hopes when they connect with one another, but that doesn't mean that everyone will only want to receive something from the interaction. It brings joy to a great number of people when they assist other people without anticipating receiving anything in return. It is because people care about the world and want to make it a better place that they help each other out and give charitable contributions. Equality, mutual respect, and understanding are also essential components of healthy relationships. This means that both parties in the relationship contribute and receive the same amount of value. It is also possible to manage expectations and ensure that conversations are respectful and beneficial for all parties involved by establishing rules and communicating with one another in a clear manner. Before we come to a conclusion, it is essential to keep in mind that interpersonal relationships are not simply about making deals, rather, they are challenging and complex. Additionally, it is beneficial to be aware of what other people want from us and to act accordingly. Number 3, there is a real possibility that you will be referred to as weak and treated in the same manner. There is a possibility that people will refer to you as weak and treat you as if you are weak. Stoicism is a philosophical school that encourages us to cultivate inner fortitude and self-discipline. When we demonstrate to others that we are dedicated to our own responsibilities and values, we can demonstrate this commitment by establishing clear boundaries and engaging in self-discipline. Because of this, rather than being perceived as fragile and treated in that manner, respect is earned. There is a possibility that you will believe that you are establishing yourself as an authority in the fields in which you collaborate if you are always willing to assist other people. On the other hand, this can result in others developing a negative perception of you, because when boundaries are not established, they may begin to view you as being dependent or easily commanded. Because of this, they may decide to transfer their responsibilities onto you, mindful of the fact that you are always willing to assist other people and therefore unlikely to refuse their request. On the other hand, as soon as you begin to use the word no, other people might start to think about something that they might not have thought about before. Respect. Establishing boundaries and expressing a refusal when it is required demonstrates your genuineness and dedication to your own priorities, which in turn earns you the respect of those who are in your immediate vicinity. It is essential that you demonstrate authenticity and that you are able to say no when applicable. When we have healthy relationships, we receive mental support, a sense of connection, and a sense that we belong. This is why having healthy relationships is important for living a happy life. However, it is essential that these relationships are not only healthy but also beneficial for both parties involved. Relationships that are healthy are those in which all parties involved contribute and support one another in a manner that is equal and respected. There is a possibility that your partner will take advantage of your kindness if you are overly kind to them. In relationships that are healthy, it is essential for all parties involved to be willing to provide and receive support in an equitable manner. Simply because you are a man does not mean that you are obligated to fulfill every desire that women have regarding you. Limits are something that everyone has, and this is true for both sexes. It is possible that everything will become an obligation if you are overly kind. Through the use of your words, it appears as though you are concerned about being perceived as weak and possibly being treated poorly as a result of this perception. Never lose sight of the fact that there are numerous powers to choose from. You are not weak if you are open with others or if you ask for assistance. In point of fact, it typically takes a great deal of courage to acknowledge that you are weak and to ask for assistance when you are in need of it. If you are concerned about how other people might perceive you, it may be helpful to concentrate on developing your self-confidence and surrounding yourself with people who value and respect you for who you are. There are situations in which you might be mistreated, and taking care of yourself and establishing limits can also help protect your health from those situations. It is essential to keep in mind that everyone, at some point or another, will experience difficulties and problems. When you are in need of assistance, it is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness, to ask for it. If you are being mistreated by another person, you should talk about it and seek assistance from reliable friends, family members, or seasoned professionals who can assist you in dealing with the situation. You ought to be treated with kindness and consideration by other people. Number 4. You are putting yourself in a perilous position of developing a dependency. Both moderation and self-control are emphasized in the Stoic philosophy. The ability to be self-disciplined and generous can assist us in avoiding behaviors that are addictive and in maintaining a healthy relationship with the actions and decisions that we make. When something is required, once it becomes a regular part of life, the requirements frequently continue to increase, which makes it simple to become dependent on other people. Someone who is close to you may come to the realization that you are abusing something to an excessive degree at some point in time, whether it be food, alcohol, or any other substance. It is important to keep in mind that those who care about you will always want the best for you, so listening to what they have to say is very important. The purpose of their concerns is to assist you in avoiding problems and making progress toward the improvement that you desire. The Stoic philosophy is lauded by many individuals for its ability to be wise in everyday life and resilient in the face of mental illness. On the other hand, it is essential to maintain a balanced perspective when examining any philosophical or psychological framework. Stoicism is a philosophical school that teaches us to find inner peace, accept what will happen, and concentrate on the things that we have the opportunity to control. In contrast, there is always the possibility of going too far with it and becoming dependent on it, just like there is with any other theory or belief. The following are some of the potential dangers that may arise from becoming overly reliant on Stoicism. Stoicism encourages people to take control of their emotions rather than allowing them to determine what they do. This is an example of emotional suppression. On the other hand, if this is taken to an extreme, it can lead to emotional suppression, which is when individuals choose to disregard their feelings rather than dealing with them in a healthy manner. Avoiding vulnerability. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on being self-sufficient and strong, which can mean avoiding situations in which one is vulnerable or asking for assistance from other people. Being self-sufficient is essential, but maintaining a close relationship with other people and maintaining an open mind are also very important for maintaining mental health. Putting an excessive amount of emphasis on control, Stoicism encourages us to concentrate on the things that we are able to control. However, this can cause people to become rigid and give them the impression that they need to control every aspect of their lives. This can lead to stress and worry when things occur that they are unable to control. Stoicism encourages people to be good and improve themselves, but putting too much emphasis on maintaining a stoic front may be detrimental to personal development. Stoicism is a philosophy that encourages people to be good and improve themselves. If you have a rigid and stoic attitude, it is possible that you will fail to recognize how essential it is to acknowledge your shortcomings, to make mistakes, and to learn from them in order to develop. Stoicism encourages a logical way of living, which can mean letting go of your emotions. Stoicism also encourages people to isolate themselves from their feelings. The development of mental toughness is essential, however. If you lose touch with your emotions for an extended period of time, it can cause you to lose empathy and compassion for yourself and others. Maintaining a flexible mindset is essential if you wish to avoid Stoicism or any other intellectual framework. You should be aware that Stoicism is not a rigid set of rules, but rather a tool. Instead of blindly adhering to its rules, you should give yourself permission to modify them so that they are more suitable to your circumstances. It is important to acknowledge that life is a complex and multifaceted experience, and that not all circumstances can be easily defined or managed. Accept ambiguity and educate yourself on how to deal with doubt in a courageous manner. The Stoic philosophy should be combined with other ways of thinking and doing things that are beneficial to your mental health, such as practicing mindfulness, being kind to yourself, and seeking social support. This will help you achieve a sense of equilibrium. Consider how your feelings, thoughts, and actions are being influenced by Stoicism or any other theory on a consistent basis in order to maintain a positive frame of mind. Always be prepared to adjust your approach to any situation that may arise. Number 5, your priorities will be trampled upon. One of the most important things that Stoics stress is how important it is to live in a logical and moral way. Setting limits and responsibilities is important for keeping our balance and not giving up our authenticity and well-being for other people. When you give all of your time to other people's needs, you risk and can experience inconvenience and exhaustion. If you are on a journey to find happiness and completeness, think about how you feel when you spend the weekend alone or come home every day to find no one waiting for you. To be complete, you must first take care of yourself. Before giving comfort to others, you must feel whole, satisfied, and cared for. In other words, don't give chocolate to others before you enjoy it yourself, and know that this is not selfish. Also, don't offer to help your friends clean their homes before you get your own in order and watch a movie or drink a glass of wine first. Take care of yourself and then show love to everyone else. It sounds like you're angry or stressed out because your goals aren't being taken into account or are being overshadowed by other issues. It is important to deal with these thoughts and the problems they are hiding. You might want to take these steps. Reflecting on yourself takes some time to figure out what's most important to you and why. Think about whether they fit with your long-term goals and ideals. Communication: be clear and direct with those concerned about your priorities. Tell them why your values are important and how they fit into the bigger picture. Negotiation: when goals don't match up, you have to find a middle ground. Look into different ways to reach a compromise or different choices that can somewhat balance everyone's needs. Setting limits: to protect your goals, it's important to set limits. Learn to say no when you need to and give jobs to other people that aren't important to you. Staying flexible, it's important to stick to your values, but be ready to change them if things change or if there are good reasons to do so. Ask for help. If you're having trouble setting goals or feeling overwhelmed, don't be afraid to ask for help from trusted friends, co-workers, or mentors who can give you advice or a different point of view. Number 6, maintain healthy boundaries to protect your well-being. Imagine that there is a fence around your yard. This fence protects your most prized flowers, your green meadow, and the peaceful space you've made. Setting healthy boundaries in your personal life and career is like putting up a fence around your mental health, physical health, and the integrity of your spirit. Boundaries are important in our lives because they make it clear what we can and cannot accept. They're like personal boundaries that show where you end and others begin. Building healthy limits is a way to protect your spirit, your mental health, and your physical health. Setting clear boundaries keeps you from feeling overworked and tired and makes you less likely to be taken advantage of by others. As this video already said, one of the main reasons to protect your time and energy is to protect your goal and your energy. Living a balanced life is a journey. Not setting limits can cause you to feel stressed and spread too thin, which can make your schedule too full, leave you with no time for self-care, and cause your mental integrity to break down. Setting and sticking to healthy limits is important for your health and for making sure you have healthy relationships. To help you set and stick to limits, here are some ideas. Being self-aware, this means knowing your own wants, ideals, and limits. If you know yourself well, you'll be able to tell when someone is crossing your limits. Be clear when you talk. Be clear about your limits in a polite way. Don't blame or criticize other people when you talk about your feelings and wants. Instead, use I statements. Be assertive, be strong about setting limits, even if it makes you feel bad at first. Don't forget that it's okay to put your health first. Get better at saying no. Don't feel like you have to say yes to every demand or request. It's not selfish to say no, it's a way to respect your own boundaries and needs. Make rules. You should set clear limits on your personal space, time, and energy. Tell others about these rules and make sure they are followed. Watch out for red flags. Pay attention to situations or people that regularly cross your limits or make you feel bad. Believe what your gut tells you and do something to keep yourself safe. Get help. Surround yourself with friends, family, or a therapist who can help you set limits and give you support. As part of taking care of yourself, make time for things that are good for your physical, social, and mental health. Taking care of yourself makes it easier to set and stick to healthy limits. Remember that setting limits is an ongoing process, and it's normal to run into problems along the way. Don't give up on taking care of your own wants and well-being, and give yourself time to learn and grow. Number 7, surrounded by many but only supported by the opportunistic. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value wisdom and judgment when choosing who to help. Through self-control and objectivity, we can distinguish between those who are sincere and those who want to take advantage of us and avoid wasting energy on solvable situations. If you suddenly find yourself alone, people who once considered you a good friend may begin to exclude you from happy times and only approach you when they need something specific or a favor. If we think realistically, this is not surprising. Generally, people do not invite their colleagues or employees to social gatherings, let alone share leisure and fun. While this is reasonable, it does not mean that it is fair in all situations. Therefore, it is important to learn how to avoid being exploited by others. And soon we will share some strategies to make sure you get involved in your life only with those who seek help genuinely. not just those willing to take. Through Stoic philosophy, we can maintain sincere and mutually beneficial relationships. To derive greater benefits from this classical knowledge, those who pass through our lives are often drawn to the energy we radiate. In other words, when we radiate negativity, we ultimately attract pessimists, people who have given up on life, and people who don't have much goodwill toward themselves or others. On the other hand, when our spirits are positive, we draw positive people, generous, kind, enthusiastic, hardworking, and happy people. When we give without expecting anything in return, we use up too much energy, which makes us vibrate at a lower frequency. This makes us attract people who need something or opportunities. This is most common when people who don't plan to repay come only to drain your energy. People who use this phrase are likely to be around someone who is having a hard time, but the people who are there to help them are mostly those who see a chance to make money off the situation. To put it another way, the help might not be real or selfless, but rather driven by selfishness. This could be useful in a number of situations, including politics. A politician may have a lot of supporters, but when they look more closely, they see that most of these followers are only showing support because they can get something out of it for themselves. In business, an entrepreneur may know a lot of people in their field, but when they need help, it usually comes from people who see a way to make money or move up by becoming involved in their projects. In social situations, a person may have a lot of friends or acquaintances, but they know that the people who really care about their well-being are the ones who support them during hard times, not the ones who are just interested in making friends. This phrase basically talks about how important it is to tell the difference between real support and help that is just there to take advantage of you. In different areas of your life, it means that people should be careful and wise when figuring out why someone is helping them. Number 8, you could end up falling into addiction. As a Stoic philosopher, Fars Opus pushed for balance and self-control. Being self-disciplined enough to be generous keeps us from getting stuck in addiction patterns and helps us have a good relationship with our choices and actions. When lack becomes a part of our everyday lives, the need for more grows. This is the perfect time to become addicted. So one day, someone close to you may realize that you are drinking, eating, or gambling too much. Pay attention to what the people who care about you say, because your first reaction may be anger and denial that you have a problem. This is the most common response of people who are so caught up in their problems that they can't see that they have one. Always remember that the people who care about you only want what's best for you. Yes, addiction is a real problem that can affect anyone, no matter where they come from, how old they are, or what their situation is. It is important to know that addiction can happen from using drugs or alcohol too much over a long period of time, as well as from habits like gambling, gaming, or even spending too much time on the internet. Biological, social, and environmental factors often interact in a complicated way in addiction. Some people may be more genetically likely to become addicted, while others may turn to addictive habits as a way to deal with mental health problems, stress, or trauma. Help from a medical worker or a support group is important if you or someone you know is having trouble with addiction. You may be able to get help through therapy, medicine, support groups, or a mix of these. Getting help early on and keeping it up can greatly increase the chances of healing. Number 9, you may arouse suspicion. Stoic philosophy promotes the cultivation of good behavior irrespective of potential misinterpretation or judgment from others. Through the adherence to Stoic principles and values, we establish a genuine reputation that can endure baseless uncertainty. Even as we aspire for a different world, it is a fact that only a small number of individuals truly exhibit a genuine sense of generosity. Consequently, if you are one of those individuals, you may attract suspicion instead of admiration and gratitude. However, this is not the primary concern. It is not uncommon for people to quickly question your hidden intentions when you display generosity. They may wonder about the circumstances surrounding your actions and whether there are any ulterior motives behind them. This does not imply that you have come upon an inherently dubious set of persons. They may genuinely be genuine. The majority of excessively giving individuals attempt to hide their intentions. A precautionary measure is to often avoid engaging with them and decline the help they propose. Therefore, in everything you strive to accomplish in life, try to rely on yourself regardless of how long it may take. Always observe who genuinely desires your betterment, because that person may open doors for your life. Don't expect to do something and receive something in return, just as you shouldn't help others with the expectation of receiving something in return. In daily life, we often face such problems, and others may try to take advantage of us. This can happen in many aspects, from personal to work and social relationships. To protect yourself and maintain balance in your life, it is important to understand and apply appropriate strategies that benefit others. Next, please join us in acquiring and implementing this knowledge to cultivate self-assurance and wisdom in the realm of everyday life. Strategy number 1 should attentively heed their emotions. The initial stage is grounded in the Stoic concept of self-awareness. Being mindful of your emotions and mood is a fundamental element of Stoicism. Engaging in self-reflection is crucial for comprehending one's reactions and demands. By attentively listening to one's emotions, one may ascertain whether they are excessively committing and generating mental tension. This process aids in adjusting one's attention and achieving a more optimal equilibrium. Reflect upon your emotions when engaging in acts of altruism, self-care, and prioritizing your own needs. This act is equally commendable as assisting others, and it should elicit positive emotions. If you experience excessive pressure, exhaustion, anger, or exploitation, it indicates the need to take a moment to pause and attentively acknowledge your emotions. When experiencing unwarranted distress, it is crucial to acknowledge and address the emotions associated with it, since they serve as significant indicators of one's psychological state. Strategy number 2, overcome the apprehension of declining requests. The word no holds significant importance in one's life as it establishes boundaries and enables one to avoid energy-draining situations. By saying no, one demonstrates their values and rejects the notion of agreeing with everything. Conversely, when one agrees with everything, the ultimate response is typically reserved for stressful situations. This strategy follows the teachings of Stoicism and involves recognizing the value of your time and energy while consciously allocating them in a balanced way. Saying no in situations where you feel overwhelmed or when the requests are unfair is a way to practice self-control. Although it may be difficult for some people, the word no is often associated with negativity and pessimism. It's important to overcome the fear of using it in specific moments in your life. If we don't do so, negativity can manifest in our lives when someone asks us for more than we can fulfill. It's important to practice saying no. It can even be helpful to practice in front of a mirror and convince yourself that it's the only way to regain freedom and avoid unnecessary risk. It is important to consider the particularity of each circumstance. These tactics can facilitate the establishment of a more optimal equilibrium in your relationships and safeguard your attitude. Do you frequently employ the word no? If so, please share your thoughts or tell me a situation where saying no has benefited you in the comments section of this video. Strategy number 3. There is a time and space for you. This strategy is based on the Stoic principles of self-discipline and self-respect. Those are the core elements of your life. Setting aside time and space for self-care is extremely important. If you really enjoy doing anything, be it playing sports, painting, listening to music, any hobbies, or anything that gets you excited, try to complete your task as soon as possible so you can make time for these activities. This should be considered. Scheduling this time daily and weekly is crucial in your life. If you have a request for cooperation during this period, it is important to understand that individuals may have their own religious beliefs and may be willing to cooperate for their own benefit rather than solely for you. Therefore, it is important to avoid exerting control and instead enjoy this time without feeling guilty. It is also important to avoid cheating as an exclusive means of gaining an advantage. If you are not too rigid, you can offer to help at another time, but it is important to note that your availability will be limited due to your own life. This will be a crucial strategy in your life. The cultivation of strategy number 4 is the focus of the 4th technique, described below. Develop an attitude of gratitude on a consistent basis. Gratitude should be a daily meditation practice. Engaging in activities on a daily basis not only has positive effects on the soul, but it also helps to cultivate a life that is upbeat and motivating. It is possible to make significant changes to both your mental and emotional state by devoting a portion of each day to reflecting on the things that you value. You will be able to cultivate a more joyful mental state and focus on the positive aspects of life if you engage in this practice. The practice of keeping a gratitude journal is an efficient way to accomplish this goal. In this journal, you will be able to record not only your daily thoughts and feelings, but also the significant events and moments that you have experienced. This practice not only helps you remember important memories from your life, but it also helps you become more self-aware and better understand your goals and objectives. Your mind will gradually eliminate negative ideas and fears if you make it a habit to record happy and thankful thoughts on a regular basis. This will make room for positive information and energy. Having this boosts your optimism and makes you better prepared to face the challenges that life throws at you. In order to cultivate a more positive outlook and actively pursue opportunities in all aspects of life, it is recommended that you keep a daily record of the things that you appreciate on a regular basis. Take into consideration that this routine ought to be regarded as an essential element of your overall life strategy. You will be able to cultivate a positive mindset and maintain daily motivation if you put this technique into practice, which can have a positive impact on your life. Along with the formulation of a plan of action, the strategy entails the establishment of 5 distinct objectives. To achieve clarity and a sense of purpose in your life, you should first establish clear goals and then devise strategies to achieve them. It is important to keep in mind that progress typically happens gradually, so it is important to take pleasure in challenging yourself as you work toward achieving your life goals. You can accomplish this by setting goals that are specific and attainable, which will allow you to move closer to achieving your expectations and goals in life. In order to contribute to the improvement of one's quality of life and spirituality in both the professional and personal spheres, there are a number of additional strategies that can be used to enhance the 4 strategies that were initially proposed. A technique that falls into this category is realm strategy number 6, which states that it is essential to identify energy vampires and create physical space separate from them. Stoicism is a philosophical school of thought that emphasizes the importance of self-control and self-awareness. When it comes to relationships, it is essential to recognize those that are beneficial to you as well as those that have the potential to drain your mental energy. It is advisable to put some distance between yourself and people who consistently drain your energy and do not contribute in a positive way. Because it enables me to accomplish my goals, maintaining my mental tranquility is of the utmost importance to me. If we are provided with direction in life, we have a tendency to follow it. On the other hand, when we do not have daily tranquility, it may hold us back or bring us down. It can be counterproductive to make an effort to communicate to someone who drains energy that there is a possibility that they will be unsuccessful. These individuals will frequently bombard you with complaints and complaints only. People who have complaints and negative outlooks on life demonstrate a lack of genuine concern for finding solutions to their problems. This is because finding solutions would require them to stop complaining, which is a course of action that they are unwilling to take. According to Stoic philosophy, the importance of maintaining equilibrium in all aspects of life, including acts of generosity, cannot be overstated. Furthermore, excessive giving can deplete our energy, time, and financial resources, despite the fact that it may give the impression that we are being self-centered toward others. It is essential to keep in mind that the depletion of one's financial resources is extremely dangerous. Because of this, it is recommended that we make the best possible decisions that allow us to prioritize the needs of others while also ensuring that we take care of ourselves. In situations where there is a lack of clarity, it is advisable to keep in mind the powerful word "no." I sincerely hope that you have found these recommendations to be effective in meeting your needs. In order to properly acknowledge the significant contribution you have made to this YouTube channel, it is essential. If you have found this video to be helpful in fostering contemplation or providing novel insights, we would be grateful if you would consider leaving a like on it. When you do so, you will be assisting others in their exploration of the teachings of Stoic philosophy. More than that, if you have not yet subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would do so right now and leave a comment. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I will see you in the following videos. Please comment number 1 if you like this content. If you don't like it, comment number 2. Thank you.